Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. On today's video we're going to talk about the 8 books that I read during the month of May. May was an interesting month for me. It was a month full of projects and video concept ideas that I was reading, and I think that all of these books were part of some videos. Some of them have been published already and some of them are still in the making, but I don't think I read any of these for no specific reason. Here are the books I'm going to be talking about. Some of them are facing the other way because are not exactly these books but something else that I read in my reader. Here they are. There's 8 of them, and now let's quickly talk about the stats before jumping into the books. These 8 books were divided between 6 adult and 2 young adult, and genre wise they were 3 thrillers, 3 fantasy books. Who are you, Manganet? 3 fantasy books, like what? 1 mystery and 1 dystopia. Star rankings, it was not a great reading month, but then what did you expect? There's 3 fantasies in here. I gave 2 of them 1 star, 1 of them 3 stars, 2 of them 4 stars, 2 DNFs, and 1 is still in progress, which means I gave no 5-star rankings during the month of May. Sad, so sad. Let's talk about the books quickly. As always, my memory is not great, so if you need further details about these books, just go check them out on Goodreads. And also, some of them I'm going to mention which video, concept, idea, project thing they were included, but the ones that are still in progress, I'm just not going to say anything at all, so I don't spoil my future content. The first book I read was Killing Kate by Alex Lake. This is a thriller that follows this girl that recently came back from vacations with her 3 best friends after breaking up with her 10 years long relationship boyfriend. So they broke up, they went on vacation, she just came back, and when she goes back to her little town where she always lived, a lot of murders start happening and all the girls look like her. So she starts getting a bit freaked out. We start being a bit suspicious of her ex-boyfriend, who is clearly not taking the breakup well. And there's certain things that he does that does make us suspicious of him, but at the same time he's such a sweetheart. How could he do such thing? So we're never really sure of what's happening. Should we believe her? Should we believe the ex-boyfriend? There are some other characters that she meets along the way, some work colleagues. Everyone is really suspicious. It's a bit creepy because there's lots of scenes that happen at night when she's alone in the apartment. Everyone starts being really suspicious of everyone, and towards the end the whole narrative of the book just goes into a completely different direction. It wasn't bad. It was also not the best thriller I've ever read, but it's still a solid 4-star read for me. After that I read Twilight. I reread Twilight. There's a whole video here on the channel. I'm gonna leave it here or here, I never know. One of these corners is gonna have the video for that. I was rereading it 10 years later. I've also watched the movie and all that you can find in that video. Twilight, I'm not gonna tell you what's about, everyone knows, right? I liked it. I gave it 4 stars initially when I first read it when I was 15 years old or something. I did give it 5 stars. Now I gave it 4 because even though I loved it, and I did, it's not a great book, but I loved it. 4 stars, but 5 in the heart, but I gave it 4. And I do intend on continue rereading the entire series, so in June I'm gonna try and reread New Moon. Next up, I read The Cleaner by Elizabeth Hochman. This had such an original storyline about this lady that her job is to clean the crime scenes, like the murder scenes when someone gets murdered, and after the investigation is done she cleans the houses or whatever, the place where the murder happens, disposes of the bodies and gets rid of all the blood and cracks in the walls, and if there's broken furniture she will dispose of that, replace it, and that's her job. It's a really cool premises. I've never came across anything like that. However, this is set first of all in Germany or something, so all the names are 16 characters long and are impossible to read them. At least I cannot obviously read German, so it's really weird. And then this is set in the 80s or 70s, I'm not even sure anymore, and it's really old school. And then it also involves Russian spies or something. Okay, I don't know if they're Russian, but some espionage things and implemented microphones, and I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I was enjoying the scenes where she was actually cleaning the crime scene, but everything around it, I couldn't care less about this book, so I ended up DNFing it after 178 pages. That's where I DNF'd this book. Next up, I read The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Thornton. I buddy read this with Philippa Books, Holly Tash and Joanna. We did a weekend vlog for this. I'm gonna leave it in the cards, although my vlog was not exactly hold up the camera and speak to the camera vlog. It was more like those videos that I used to do ages ago of life lately. So it's just nice chill music. I called it Slow Weekend, and it's just a bunch of relaxation, because given the current situations, I think we all need to take a moment and relax and just love ourselves. And I wanted to take that weekend in a very slow and chilled way, so I thought, what best than do a vlog that reflects exactly that. So probably in that vlog you couldn't really understand that we were buddy reading this or that we were doing the vlog together, because I had no way of explaining it, but we were buddy reading this for the vlog, and you can check their vlogs. Those are normal vlogs if you want to see what they thought. But what were my opinions on this? This book has these premises that they are at a party with a bunch of guests, and we are following, what's his name? Aiden. And every day he wakes up in the body of a different guest from that party. And every night Evelyn, Hardcastle, gets murdered. And he has, in order to get out of that party, that game, and stop reliving the same day over and over again, he needs to find out who is murdering Evelyn. If he doesn't do it in a week, then he'll go back to the body of the first person in day one, and he gets his memories erased, so he has to start over and over and over again. This sounds really cool. For some reason I had this in my bookshelves. Sounds really cool. However, I felt like it was so mysterious, but so mysterious, and they kind of expect that at page 349 you remember what happened on page 3, which for some people like Philippa worked very well, but then for people like me with the golden fish memory, it just sucked, because I couldn't remember anyone, I couldn't remember the names, I couldn't remember which person he was in each day, and then it doesn't exactly follow a straight line. It jumps from like day 3 to 7 and then back to day 4, and you need to assemble the puzzle pieces in your head. And my head doesn't work like that. So maybe if while I was reading I had taken some seriously lots of commitment notes of what is happening and actually draw the timeline, and he did this, and then he went to the library and left a note for this person, and then the person came 3 days later. If I had taken notes like that, maybe it would have been fun. But just for a casual reading, I absolutely hated this book. It was one of the worst books. I couldn't enjoy myself, and I cannot say this is well written. I do believe that some people, like Philippa, think it's well written. For me, it's very badly written, because if you write a book that is so hard to follow and understand the premises, then you're doing something wrong. So I'm sorry, this was a 1-star book for me. I absolutely do not recommend it. It's too mysterious, there's too many questions and not enough answers, and then at the end everything just gets really weird, and it's just like, oh, I don't have words for this. I was very confused the whole time. They had to explain me what the book was about and what happened at the end, because I couldn't care less. I was just reading it, getting it over with, and was horrible. Next up, I started reading The Ghostwriter by, was it Alessandro Torre or something like that, for the Tearing Page book club. But I ended up DNFing that book, not because I was not enjoying it, because I read only 69 pages of it, but because I was reading so many things at the same time that I ended up prioritizing other things, and then I got so behind in that read along that I just stopped trying. So I DNF'd it. I don't think I'm gonna pick up the book back up, because I wasn't loving it. As in, like, I had nothing against it. I wasn't loving it in the way I can't wait to keep reading it. So I don't think I'm gonna pick it back up. But there was nothing wrong with that book. It's just the story of this writer that is dying, and she contracts someone to go be her ghostwriter and finish the book for her, something like that. It did give me some vibes of Verity, but it has nothing to do with it. And then I did hop on the video chat the Tearing Page book club were organizing to discuss this book, and I asked the rest of the people to please just tell me what the book is about, what all the plot twists were, how does it end, all that. So I did get a good impression of the book. It didn't seem terrible. They all said it's like there's stuff happening in the beginning and stuff happening at the end, but in the middle there's nothing. But the plot of the book seemed interesting, but again, I didn't read it, so I don't know. Next up, I read 267 pages of this book that you cannot see because I don't have the jacket here. It's The Ballads of Songbird and Snakes by Susan Collins. This is the new Hunger Games book.
Only, please.
Later that same evening.
Hello, it's a bunch of hours later. I had stopped recording because Suki needed a bath because she rolled herself in something disgusting while she was out with Josh. So then I had to interrupt this to go give her a bath, and then we had dinner, and then we watched TV, and yeah, it's a bunch of hours later. Let's carry on. I don't remember where I was, except from the part that I know I was talking about this book. I'm currently recording a reading vlog for this book. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna actually post that reading vlog or not. My idea is yes, obviously, and I do want to do that, but I feel like I'm not recording enough content for this reading vlog because the truth is this is getting really addictive, and I sit down and I read a bunch of pages in a row and I don't record anything for the video because all I do is want to keep reading this. But in case you're not familiar with this book, came out this year, last month in May, and it's a prequel to the Hunger Games. This happens when the 10th Hunger Game is happening, so 10 years, and we're following what nowadays is President Snow, but back here he was 18 years old and his name is like Coriolanus. I never know how to say his name, but that, yeah. And he was actually a mentor for the girl in District 12. And it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. I want to keep reading it as soon as I finish recording this video. And I'm not going to talk much about this right now because I haven't finished. As you can see, I'm like 2/3 into, so 1/3 left. And I'll talk more about it on my next wrap-up from next month, and maybe if I finish the reading vlog I'll talk about it then or not, I don't know. Next up we have Followers by Megan Angelo. This was the chapterized book for the month of May. This is a dystopia that follows the story of these two girls, Orla and Floss, who were friends in the year 2015. We also follow this other girl, Marlo, in the year 2051 or 52? 2051. And Marlo is Floss's daughter. And in the year 2051, they live in this place where there's no internet. The internet has gone down, the government has taken over, and they implemented this new network thing that basically you have something in your wrist and then it just works in your head. So in your head you just ask, how's the weather today? And a voice inside your head will let you know, today will be raining. Like Google Home and Siri and Alexa, but in your brain. And Marlo, in the year 2051, she's an adult, and she's also part of this reality show thing that is broadcasted for everyone, where people are always watching. And she's very famous. She has a bunch of millions of followers. The whole thing is live and being broadcasted live, so she's doing her own day-to-day activities and people are commenting live and she can read those comments, but she cannot acknowledge them. She also doesn't get to make her own decisions. Everything is decided by the network according to what's going to give them more views, more followers. So everything is about fame because her mom, Floss, was very fame oriented. In the year 2051, we don't really know what happened to Floss. She's mentioned a few times, but she's not really part of the story, and Orla is definitely never mentioned. So we are alternating between the two timelines, and we are curious to know what happened to Orla. Where did she go? Did she die? Did she not? Did she evaporated? I was also very curious during the whole book to know what happened during the spill, which was the day where the internet got taken down, something happened, and then like people were dying and people were going crazy because of the spill. And we did know that, but we didn't know why. We didn't know what happened on that day. Then it's explained here towards the end. And I quite enjoyed this book. In the group, in the chapterized group, most people didn't like it. They thought it was a really weak dystopia. They didn't enjoy the ending. I did. I enjoyed the ending. And I enjoyed it because I really like things about internet and being inside the internet. So the concept of having the whole internet in your mind, for me it's fun. Initially I was thinking on giving it a 4 stars, then I ended up reducing it for a 3, but it's more like a 3.5, 3.75 for me. It's very close to 4. And finally, the last book I read this month was Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This was the book that I read as the first episode of Vlogs in Bookland. That was the last video that came out on this channel before this one. I'm gonna leave it here in the cards. Basically, the 4 of us recommended a book to the group, and then we randomly allocated each person a book, and I got this one, which was Joanna's recommendation. And this is a fantasy, like, what is it called, high fantasy or something it's called, and it's just horrible. I gave it 1 star, and you can hear more about my details on that video in that vlog, so I'm just gonna leave it there for you. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it, but I don't enjoy fantasy, so if you do enjoy fantasy, I think this has actually good reviews, and I think this is like a trilogy or something. I do like the cover, and it's like paper, like cardboard. I do like that, but yeah, the story was not for me. But it's about this boy that is training to be like the kingdom's assassin. And that's pretty much all I know about it. And that is it, guys. Those are the 8 books that I read during the month of May. It wasn't the most successful reading month for me in terms that I didn't read anything that really blew my mind, but it was fun doing all these projects and all the little things that I'm still working on. So stay put here on the channel for more videos coming soon, and let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if you are interested in any of these books and all the things. And I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye!